Well, I'd like to make it more interesting up here now and less heavy. So I'm going to use a round brush to number 4 to try to groom this area a little bit. Get things a little more organized. Let's see how this goes. I'm not painting just yet. I'm not using oil paint or straight oil paint just yet. I've still got a little bit of paint thinner in here. Not that much, but a little bit anyway. So I'm just going to try to make it a little more interesting. This will be a bit of a challenge. I kind of like to maintain a bit of that. But this is kind of solid here, so maybe we'll cut across that. And cut in there. All kinds of little dabs of paint. Oh, excuse me. Just a mishmash of branches, bits of foliage. Got to be kind of thoughtful while I'm doing this, because you're trying to bear in mind where everything goes. It kind of has to make sense, kind of. Yeah, I do want to break up into this area. Okay. Again, because it's such a small painting, I don't want to put too many little dabs in there. I want to do just enough and not more. I think I'll allow the horizon to, or the top of that distant bush line to cut right across there. Okay, something brave. Quite a bit of mass on that, on this side of the bush, and I think I'd like to cut that down. Stylized is fine, not worried at all about that. More of a design than a painting. Yeah. Do away with that. That looks a little too much like Halloween. Don't want to scare anybody. I know in the past I've done, like I personally I kind of like those shapes, those odd, broken, beat up branches, but I've had a lot of comments that they're not sort of happy looking, and my personal taste is I couldn't really care less whether it's happy looking, but it's not just me who's going to look at who are going to look at the paintings. I do paint to make a living, and that means that I need to try to come up with paintings that are appealing for a broad range of tastes. And I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. I enjoy that. Arguably, a painting is a statement, and if you want to make a statement that people will be receptive to, then you're almost better off making more of a friendly statement than an off-putting one. If I'm trying to make a painting that's scary and looks a little uncomfortable, well, okay, fine. But that's not what we're after. And so far it's looking a little scary, but it's alright. Maybe we can make up for that by having some nice warm friendly colors. Okay, that's a little more broken up. I like that. Okay, that's the top of this one. Branches from here. Indeterminate direction, as long as they all sort of appear to be coming off of something plausible and going somewhere plausible. I guess we're okay. Now, I might want to just leave that blocked in. Yeah, I think I might just do that. I'll just leave it. Let this edge of bush here obliterate the distant indication of hills, or trees rather. Might introduce a few spots of field in there. Now I'm going to tidy up this purple slice, which, what did I use there? Let's try for some cobalt blue. No, A little more ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson. And a hint of yellow ochre. Sort of a warm. Okay, I'll go a little darker. I kind of fear sometimes that videoing, making video of me doing this right now, you might find a little bit on the boring side because there are no huge strides being made. It's just me making some smaller decisions. And yeah, they're necessary, but I don't know how entertaining they are for you guys. Entertaining or helpful. You can let me know. You can certainly tell me in the comments. I'm always welcome to that. I know I've been told in the past, just go ahead and do what you want, by various viewers, and I appreciate that, but don't want the content to be too lame. Okay, so that's a bit tidier. Now we'll go into that field that's in the background. And we'll just use cobalt blue there and a bit of white, a bit of raw umber. How's that for close? Yeah, that'll do. It's not something that you can that everybody can do too easily. I can pretty much look at paint that's been laid on a painting, even if it's not my own. And I can usually know what colors have been used, and I can usually match them with my own palette. I could have a lot more colors on my palette, but it really can be helpful if you develop the skill to be able to arrive at the same colors, the same mixed colors, without buying more different tubes of paint. I think that there are plenty of folks who have a lot of colors on their palette that they don't need because those same colors can be achieved using far fewer. I have a couple of videos on my palette, and you can always go back through my videos and find them. I think there's some reasonable information. I describe my palette and what's on there. Okay, I don't know if I need to do any more tidying up here or not. That might be just fine. Well, I'm going to start with some what you would call Naples yellow, but what it actually is a touch of cad yellow pale and yellow ochre and white. And I think we'll start right about here. It's kind of fun. I mean, this is when the thing starts to pop a little bit. I think I'm being too fussy. I end up with a tight little painting. We don't want a tight little painting. Okay, that will probably be, well, I might go in a certain area with just some white in a while, but I don't want to be more intense than that. Still using that little number 4 brush. And yeah, okay. Okay, put in a little more yellow ochre, slowly toning things down. Sure starts to jump though, I like that. Round brush is kind of nice in a sense that a round brush holds more paint than a flat brush does. So in that way, it's kind of nice. I'm not going to cover every speck of the underpainting. Now, as you can see, this round brush still has a fair bit of life left in it. It's quite new. You know, you can still get a pretty good point, which obviously I need for this. Now, of course, this is still a boar's hair, or a boar's bristle brush. Or to go to sable and add, for example, some linseed oil to it. Yes, you'd have a tighter, more controllable stroke, but you would sacrifice some of the looseness of the strokes, and you would also hide more of the tooth. And I like the tooth. I'm being quite careful not to load my brush up too much and not to have it too dry, somewhere in between. You get a feel for that. little more yellow ochre again. You load your brush up too much when you're doing something like this, you end up with ridges of paint that, yeah, it's kind of dangerous. You can pick that up again later when you're painting in other areas, and you don't necessarily want that. Well, when I went above the trees here, I used a bit of ultramarine blue and yellow ochre and white. You know, had this barrier not been here, it would have been a very gradual move over to that. I laid in a few, once I painted it in, I'd laid in a few strokes of more yellow ochre and even hints of cad yellow pale, just to help unify the two areas, because there's this barrier here which will be a different color. It almost appears, you know, as though they are too different from each other. I'm going to let that play out. I think I don't have to worry about it. So now I've mixed up a little batch of cobalt blue, yellow ochre, and white, and we're going to just play in here a little bit. Put that field in there. Fairly intense in its color. That's okay, or not color, but value. Okay, a little bitty like that. I want to make sure I get my distant field looking reasonably straight. I think that'll work. Do I want? No, let's just remove that. Okay. Painted a whole field. It's got to be acres and acres, but you know, it only took a second. So I think I'd like to take, this is cobalt blue and some yellow ochre and white, and I think I'd like to cool it off by using more cobalt blue next as I move into this closer area. And I'm going to transition from the cobalt blue into ultramarine blue and go darker as we get closer to our feet, or closer to the bottom of the painting. And I think I will probably, well, I don't know. I might make the direction of my strokes like this. Maybe not. I might, just rely on some shadow to give it this feeling of leading into this area. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it at that for the day. The last time I tried, or last Saturday, I think, when I loaded a video, it took 7.25 hours. And we have horrible broadband here sometime. And we just had a windstorm last night. We were out of power overnight, so who knows how long it'll take. I'll try to get this one out today, though. Kind of depends on how much broadband we're given today. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll probably just keep painting, but I might upload that tomorrow then. Okay, see ya. Thank you for watching.